Hi there, my name's Guy. I wanted to give some feedback on how my hair transplant went with Clinicana. So I got a transplant in December 2016, and I really hope that this helps at least one of you guys out there that might have been thinking about it and not too sure as to what that really entails. First and foremost, I would say that I would massively recommend it. To give you some context as to kind of what I had going on, I was massively thinning both sides here. I wouldn't have a hairline before. I think there's going to be some pictures that I'll be able to show you as well for some context. But yeah, here and here were just embarrassingly thinning, and it was, to say the least, it made me feel debilitated every single day. I hated it, but it was a very straightforward experience. I came over, I spent 3 days in Turkey, flying over from Gatwick Airport to Istanbul. I was picked up at the airport. I think my particular experience was more of a whirlwind, a faster experience, because I didn't have that many days off work, so I managed to get it done in 3 days. I was taken from the airport. Very, very nice driver. Brought me to the hospital. I had some blood tests quickly. The hospital was 50 meters away from the hotel that I got put up in, which was great. And the hotel was well, in fact, the hospital was fantastic. I think the hospital was built within the last sort of 10 years. So it was, it's the most modern hospital I've ever visited previously. And that was a concern for me before I went. I wondered what the like hygiene levels would be over in Turkey. Being from England, I'm not sure what to expect, but they were better standards than what we get in England. Like I say, very, very modern. The hotel, I believe it's a 3 or 4 star. It's really, really nice. Nice room and very friendly people. The following morning, I woke up at 6 o'clock, and I got taken to the hospital for my actual operation. Long day. For sure, long day. The doctor comes in, he speaks, he took me to the room and spoke perfect English, which made me feel at ease, because he was able to fully communicate what was going to happen that day in a way that I completely understood and I knew what I was preparing for. Then we sort of discussed the areas that they wanted to put some density into, and particularly my hairline. I mean, we had a bit more kind of density throughout all of my head, but mainly the front 2 areas. And I got various injections around my head. That was probably the most uncomfortable part of the day, actually, because it's the only part that's actually got any pain about it, you know. Once you've got those, your head goes numb and you don't really know what's happening, and you probably don't want to. I don't know about anybody else, but I was quite cool with sitting on my bed, and the television was on to check out, and you know, the friendly nurse was just kind of doing all of her bits and pieces, and they went through various sort of phases of what they were doing throughout the day. But as I say, you're numb throughout the day. They stop for breaks, and you have an orange juice and some soup and everything. And then I got escorted back to my hotel, and I got told about aftercare and everything like that. The following day we came back, they checked everything out to make sure that they were happy with what had happened, and that I wasn't bleeding too much or swelling too much and things like that. I mean, admittedly, when the anaesthetic wore off, it was a little bit painful, but it was nothing too bad. It was just what you would expect, basically. But you take your paracetamols, you know, and after a couple of days, that version of pain, that the kind of the throbby pain, goes away. And long one short, my hair started to, I mean, what happens is at first it grows through and you get really excited, but then the newly transplanted hair kind of leaves you again, something to do with the shock of it all. And then gradually over like the next 3 months is when you start noticing it coming through, and that's, I can't begin to tell you how much more confident I immediately started to feel when I could see that this part was getting more and more hair. It's incredible. And then after 6 months, I had a full haircut again, you know, and like now, you know, this is how I had my hair, and it's just, what it's done for my confidence is incredible. I've been a hair person. It's been a persona thing for me. And after 6 months, when I finally got a haircut, when I looked back, it was one of the best decisions I've made in my life. You know, that 6 months of having to shave my head felt so worth it, because before then I would spend at least half an hour every day throughout the course of the day looking at my hair and checking like how thin it is and hating the fact that it was thin and moving it about and everything like that. But I didn't have to do that anymore. I don't have to do that anymore. And yeah, so I'll show you my donor area as well. I don't know how well you're going to see this, but it all heals up very well, the donor area. As well, I have no idea how well that would have come out on the camera, but at first I had a bit of a strip here. That lasted not very long. That lasted not very long at all. It was just pink. It looked like a little bit more like I had sunburn than probably the rest of how I would have looked normally. 2 months in, that sort of calms down, and I think it may be a little bit more pink than the rest of me now, but not noticeably. You have to ask someone if they can see it. So yeah, thanks Clinicana, amazing job, and any of you that out there that are considering it, it's so worth the money, it's so worth your time, it's worth that 6 month spell of shaving your head and having to go through a little bit of a different period, but I promise you it'll be a good decision. So yeah, I hope that helps you, and feel free to get in touch with me if you've got any questions specifically that you think I'd be able to help you with my experience. All right, cheers, bye bye.